Hello, hello, hello. We're back with another video, and today we are talking about Revlon and Elizabeth Arden. I originally wanted to just talk about Revlon, and as I was diving into it, Elizabeth Arden's story was pretty interesting. So let's talk about the both of them. The big heavy hitters of our story today: Florence Nightingale Graham and Charles Revson, along with his brother Joseph. Those are the three hitters. Because of them, we are here today with these lovely companies. Charles Revson and his brother Joseph grew up in the early 20th century in New Hampshire, and eventually they moved to Massachusetts. They graduated. Can we talk about Manchester High School West? Okay, shout out to New Hampshire. So Charles Revson and his brother graduated from Manchester High School West. Do you know who also graduated from there? Let me tell you. Maurice and Richard McDonald, aka the co-founders of McDonald's. Josh and Seth Meyers, which I love Seth Meyers. And also I learned that Seth Meyers grew up in the town that I am originally from, in Michigan. So shout out to Okemos. And Anak Yai, who, girl... Anak, the queen that you are. So Charles relocates to Massachusetts, and he was working for a cosmetic brand that decided not to promote him when, he applied for this promotion. So once he got denied, he decided to leave the company and start his own. Oh no, that's right. He said, I'll make my own business. I don't need your business when I have my own. Joseph decides to join his brother Charles and another chemist named Charles Lackman. They all teamed up and they created this new company. What was the company called? Revlon. So their first product was a nail enamel, formulated with different pigments of a wide variety, and that proved to be superior to the other transparent dye-based products of the time. So they have this new product on their hand. Everyone's loving it. It's doing all right. They're like, okay, I think we have something going for us. Revlon started with that single product in salons with the idea that women would enjoy a manicure after getting their hair done. And they would develop new colors each season to complement women's apparel. By 1937, Revlon was in drugstores and salons. So they're on the come up. Everything's going great. We're on an incline. Amazing. Now is the time I want to start mentioning Elizabeth Arden and the start of her massive empire. So we're going to go back about 2 decades before Revlon. So Florence Nightingale Graham, aka Elizabeth Arden, was born in Canada in the late 19th century. Her birth year is still argued a bit, although her brother did later on come out saying it was 1881. She did attend nursing school, following in her namesake's footsteps. First of all, can we talk about her name? I'm obsessed with the fact that she has Florence Nightingale's full name as a name. It's just, I love that her parents weren't like, hey, we're gonna give you the middle name Florence because of Florence Nightingale. No, your entire name is gonna be based off of this amazing historical figure. So she tries nursing school. She wasn't a fan of it, and she dropped out, and she joins her older brother, who was living in New York City at the time. So the year is 1908, roughly. And I say roughly because a lot of different sources would give you different years, but the general idea is the early 20th century, around 1908. She lands a job as an assistant to beautician Eleanor Adair. And through this, she gained a lot of valuable experience, right? So now she's learning about the world of beauty and all of that good stuff. We're at around 1910. And after gaining experience, she invested about $1,000 with her business partner, Elizabeth Hubbard, to start a salon located on 5th Ave in New York City. Live from New York City, Saturday night. Okay. A few years later, her business partnership dissolved with Elizabeth Hubbard, but Florence decides to stay in the beauty industry. She travels to France to learn more about beauty and massage techniques, and upon her return to New York, she opened her salon under the new trade name Elizabeth. Now, they say she kept the name Elizabeth to save money on salon signs. And then Arden, there's a couple different stories, and I couldn't find one solid story. So I'm not really too sure where the last name Arden came from. But her and her company start working under the trade name Elizabeth Arden. This I found interesting because I wanted to learn what is a trade name versus a company name. So, trade names, if you're curious, just to clear this up, trade names are used for the advertisement of the business. The business is typically known by that trade name, or they're famous through that trade name. The company name is the name that's used while completing the registration process so you can be a legitimate business. For example, Domino's Pizza, that's their trade name. Their company name is Jubilant Food Works Limited. Elizabeth Arden Incorporated, that was her company name. Let's also consider the context of history that we are in. This is the early 20th century, and the women's suffragette movement is huge. This is a massive movement, and Elizabeth, oh, you betcha she was a suffragette. This was known that Elizabeth was a suffragette. Now, this part is a bit argued, but it's widely believed that Arden marched amongst 15,000 suffragettes in one of their protests. That part, again, is a bit argued, but she did provide the signature red lipstick to the women as a sign of solidarity. So, rewind a bit. Just about 2 years before she went to France, she had a salon called the Red Door Salon. It was on 5th Avenue, and it had a bright red door designed to help the company stand out. This was a hit. Amazing work. Amazing work. Everybody wanted more. She opened more salons all across the country, and she introduced the concept of makeovers. All of our major cities had some sort of red door salon, and by the 1930s, she had 100 plus salons internationally. Everybody wanted to see a red door salon in their neighborhood. She set out to promote the idea that beauty was within reach of all women and was considered the original beauty influencer. Quote, "It's remarkable what a woman can accomplish with a little ambition." Elizabeth Arden. She was also the first businesswoman to be featured on Time magazine in 1946. So I'm really trying to emphasize the fact that Elizabeth was a powerhouse businesswoman. Okay, so let's circle it back to Revlon. We're gonna keep bouncing back and forth, and then in the end, we'll tie them all together. It'll make sense, I promise. There's a method to my madness. All right. So Revlon now has 21 shades of nail enamel. Incredibly popular, even featured in Vogue. So again, they're doing amazing. We're roughly in the year 1942, and Revlon has become a multi-million-dollar company. By the end of World War II, it was one of the nation's top 5 beauty brands. In 1955, Revlon expands business globally. Okay, a couple rapid-fire big moments in Revlon history. We have the Fire and Ice campaign. Looks great. Lovely. Lustrous and super lustrous lipstick launches. $64,000 question TV show is sponsored by the company, so that gets them more airtime. People are seeing Revlon. It's on TV. And they were the first company to feature an African-American model, Naomi Sims. Go Revlon. So, Revlon and the Red Door Salon / Elizabeth Arden Company is doing amazing. In the year 1966, Elizabeth passes away. Joseph Revson passed away in 1971, and he worked as the company's treasurer, if you're curious. And Charles Revson passed in 1975. He was the CEO up until the end. The company is then taken over by Michael Bergerac, who assumes leadership. Revlon is then acquired by McAndrews and Forbes, and the new leadership acquired other companies as well, and eventually goes public on the stock market. If you're curious, because I was curious on what other companies that Revlon has under their belt, before they were acquired by McAndrews and Forbes, they had bought or acquired Mitchum Company in the year 1970. McAndrews and Forbes is still currently the controlling shareholder. I need to mention the 1980s supermodel campaign. Oh my gosh, Revlon! The heavy hitters, Cindy Crawford, Christy Turlington, Kirsty Bowser, and more. And this is the 1980s, so Cindy Crawford is that girl. Oh my God. Oh my God. Kirsty Bowser, to all of them. That girl. They are these supermodels, and Revlon snatched them up. One thing about Revlon, too, they will sign a black woman, okay? Let me tell you. Veronica Webb, first black model to land an exclusive contract with a major beauty brand. Who was that beauty brand? We already know it's Revlon. Halle Berry got signed in 1996. So, just great. This is just great. Eventually, Revlon acquires Q-Tex, and in that same year, 2016, Revlon acquires Elizabeth Arden Incorporated. Do you see how it all ties together now? So the Elizabeth Arden brand is now under Revlon's umbrella as well. They are a powerhouse. So they're doing amazing until they weren't. In 2022, the company files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So they blame global supply chain disruptions as the reason on why they have to file for bankruptcy. If you know what any of that means, congratulations, you are better than me. Because what? So, the company, I'm a historian, not a business major. The company changed its corporate name to Revlon Group Holdings. Remember, because we know what corporate names are. The company has since claimed to have exited bankruptcy with $26 million in available liquidity. But I couldn't find too much more on that, so I'm not sure what their current status is. But they claim they are out of bankruptcy. Today, Elizabeth Arden's company is known for its signature celebrity fragrances, the Red Door fragrance, all of that. They have a Britney Spears scent. It's great. Revlon is sold in 150 companies and is easily recognizable internationally. And let's be honest, it's a drugstore staple. Now, I have a couple Revlon products. I used to be really into their nail polish until I started going to OPI. But that's not to say anything was wrong with the Revlon colors. It's just the colors aren't really my taste. But it's great quality. Their nail products were great quality. Like, my mom has a lot of Revlon products. I hadn't known about Elizabeth Arden before making this video, but now I'm definitely gonna look into her fragrances. If anybody has some fragrance suggestions, let me know. Anyways, thank you for sticking around and listening to the story of the beast that is now Revlon and our golden girl Elizabeth Arden / Florence Nightingale Graham. See you in the next video. I hope I get better at these videos, by the way.